Hello fellow Rotarians, it's Randy Boissonnault coming to you this time from Vancouver. I'm on the south side of the Vancouver Convention Centre, and I've had time the last day or two to reflect on something that happened to me in Barcelona. I had the time to spend time there in August, and I was hanging out by the Sagrada Familia Cathedral in Barcelona. I'd just taken a stroll down the Paseo de Gracia, and I was at Sagrada Familia, and I was looking for a bookstore. It was a Sunday afternoon, had a nice ice cream, and so I took out my cell phone and I was looking on Yelp and I looked at bookstores, and it was Sunday, they were all closed. But there was one that was open, and I looked at the entry and it said, go to the Piacere Cafe, but don't expect a bookstore, expect a coffee shop with a surprise. Well, that's just enough of a hook for me to go. So I went, and I get inside. It's a really small, intimate cafe, quite dark inside, small little banquettes, little tables, people having coffee, you know, twos and threes together, lots of bookshelves. So I address the barman, and he smiles and says, where are you from? And I talk to him in Spanish, and he says, where are you from in Argentina? And I have to tell him I'm from Canada, and we have this chat. Turns out the owners are Argentine. I order a coffee, and he says, please browse the store. So I decide to browse the store. And he said, what am I browsing for? He said, you may borrow any of the books that you see on any of the bookshelves. Just please bring it back when you're done. I thought this was fascinating. So I looked at different bookshelves, found one, and ordered a second cafe, and left. Well, this book that I borrowed ended up becoming my companion on the beach, on the subway, on the Montjuic mountaintop, in the parks, and there were 8 characters in this book. It was by a newly discovered, award-winning author, and it was the first time that I read a Spanish book, cover to cover, new literature, and actually understood what was going on. 3 weeks later, it's the end of my trip. It's the day before I have to leave. It's a Sunday, and I'm again at Sagrada Familia. And this time, 5,000 kids have descended on Sagrada Familia for World Youth Day, and I need some peace. So where do I go? The Piacere Cafe. And so I go in, and the same man is there, Pablo, the barman is there, and he smiles. He says, nice to see you again. I order a coffee, and I take out the book, and I put the book on the table, and he says, welcome to the 5% Club. The coffee is on the house. I look at him, what are you talking about, Pablo? He said, welcome to the 5% Club. The coffee is free. I said, what do you mean the 5% Club? He said, 5% of the people who take a book from our cafe here actually come back and bring the books back. And I was floored. And he looked at me and said, you are now part of the 5% Club, so this first coffee is on us. And he said, and because you're part of the 5% Club, you may now go and search for another book, any book that you want, and since you're leaving the country, it can now be your book to remember us by. You just have to write in it and remember the Piacere Cafe whenever you read the book. So I was floored, and I couldn't believe this. Long story short, I ended up taking that same book with me. He was thrilled to let me have it, signed the book, and I still have it with me to this very day. The reason I'm sharing this with you is, those of you who have been Rotarians for a while will know that this is a perfect example of the 4-way test in motion. It was the 4-way test of my own values that were leading me to take the book back. And if you think of the 4-way test, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Was everything about this interaction. And next time I'm in Barcelona, I know I'm going to be having coffee with Pablo and all the fine people at Piacere Cafe, and I'll be looking for another book. And I hope that if you're in Barcelona, you'll do the same. Have a great Rotary week.